Hey again, guys. I have an extra special, rare card to show you. And it's extra special to me for a few different reasons. Number one, man, this is one of the all-time great players. I think he is extremely underappreciated in baseball and in the hobby. I know growing up as a young baseball fan and fan of the history of the game, I always put him up there with the likes of Rogers Hornsby and Tris Speaker and Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and all those guys when it came to wanting his cards. And of course, he played in an era in the late teens and 1920s where you didn't have a lot of choices to find his cards. I remember the first one I got was 1940 Play Ball. You just didn't see his cards around too much. And most of his cards are scarce or rare, honestly. But just one of the game's all-time great players, and that's George Sisler. Now, all of you card collectors will probably be familiar with the 1979 all-time record holders that shows him as the single-season hits leader next to Ty Cobb as the all-time hits leader at the time. So he held that record, single-season hits leader, until Ichiro Suzuki broke it. So he held it for decades. He batted over 400 twice. In 1920, he batted 407. In 1922, he batted 420. And he was the MVP. He also had a 41-game hit streak. And that was the modern-day National League record until Pete Rose broke it. Now, Wee Willie Keeler and Bad Bill Dalen both had a longer streak, but they were in the 1800s. So George's was in the modern era. And by the way, I always say Bad Bill Dalen should probably be in the Hall of Fame. That's one of the reasons I think he wasn't, is he played in the 1800s, and a lot of, supposedly a lot of the guys who would vote him in later on weren't familiar with him. He didn't get a lot of notoriety. I guess not a lot of people got to watch him. But that being said, George Sisler became very good friends with Branch Rickey. He was recruited to play college baseball in Michigan. He was a left-handed shortstop. When he went to college, they made him a pitcher. When he came to the pros, he was brought to the St. Louis Browns. Branch Rickey was their manager. He had coached him as a freshman at Michigan, and they formed a lifelong friendship. Now, when he came to the Browns, he came up as a pitcher, and he pitched something like 15 games with less than a 3 ERA, and he went up against Walter Johnson twice and beat him both times. But as is familiar story with many of the great hitters like Stan Musial and Babe Ruth, they needed to find a way to put him into the lineup every day. And so they moved him to first base. Now, he was a shortstop, so he was a smooth fielding first baseman and had range other first basemen did not. But one of the great hitters of all time. Now, he wasn't a big home run hitter, which is probably why sometimes he doesn't get the notoriety he deserves. He was a very straightforward guy, went over to the military in 1918. What makes his career even more exceptional, if you think about it, was before the 1923 season, he actually developed a sinus infection, and it gave him double vision, and he couldn't hit, couldn't see. And it risked ruining his baseball career, and he never felt the same behind the plate. He still batted over 300 every year, but he just never felt the same again. He had a very high lifetime batting average, just one of the game's all-time great players. And so I have acquired a very rare card of his, and I wanted to show it to you, and it's even extra special. And I'll show you why in a second. First, I got to break it out of this eBay tomb. With this is the W. Man, I can't even break it out of this tomb. W575-1, George Sisler. Now, I believe PSA is graded 2 only, and SGC, I believe, is only ever graded 2, making it a Pop 4 as far as graded, and this is the highest graded example. Now, what is extra awesome about this is he has 2 poses in this set. 1 batting and 1 throwing. And I already had the throwing one. Now this one, PSA is only ever graded 2. And I don't know how many SGC is graded, but very low pop. And I know PSA's highest graded one is a 1.5, like this one. But this may be the only time you ever see these 2 cards together. And I wanted to share them with you. George Sisler. Man, I'm always excited to add a George Sisler to my collection. You know, I watch these guys that tell you what to invest in, and, you know, you guys know me. I'm a collector. I'm not an investor. I will buy these all day long for a tiny fraction of what guys are guessing on players for on these cards they're pulling right out of a pack. I mean, so undervalued to me. This card should probably go for 10 times what it does. But I will buy these all day long. Now, my problem is when I go to the National, savvy collectors know about these things. So I can't get good deals. Maybe. You never know. All right, guys. That's what I have for you right now. You know, I've often thought that, you know, we have the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. I've often thought that we should have a Rookie of the Year. Don't you think? I thought that would be a great category for some people that just start out. I know we have had a few people burst onto the scene this year. And I'm sure I don't know all the newer channels. But if I had to pick a top 3, like have a ballot for Rookie of the Year for sports card community, I think, you know, Double D was running away with it for a while there. But then we had the Vintage Sanctuary running up on him, and we have the Drew. I'm going to give a shout out to those channels. That would be my ballot, the 3 for Rookie of the Year. Double D, Vintage Sanctuary, and the Drew. I don't know if you're familiar with those channels, but you should check them out if you're not. Welcome to the community. They are great additions, and I think it's awesome. So, as always, thanks for watching.